Well, good Monday morning. It's not even 10 a.m. and I've been up since 4:30. Got a FaceTime wake-up call at 4:30 then from Naj, and thank you so much for doing that. It makes a difference. For those of you that don't know, Naj is in LA, 8 hours behind, so for her it was 8:30 Sunday night and 4:30 Monday morning for me, so to get up and do a few hours of work, so suffering a little bit, but anyway, so just walked over, just parked the car by the flat, walked over anyway, and that was blocked yesterday. That's where Buckingham Palace Road is, and then on the left Birdcage Walk, and that's an entry and exit now. Of course, this time yesterday it wasn't. It was I think it was neither. It was no entry, no exit, and had to sort of go all the way up there, join a queue, which then came around, and I was in that, if you remember, for about 20 minutes, and then entered through there. When I say it wasn't an entry where you could just walk in and go, right? You had to line up and go in that queue. More music of it. Anyway, so then after a 20-minute wait, then I came in this way. Yesterday it wasn't an exit, and I had to sort of go up all the way around and all that. But right now it's kind of okay. Music, that reminds me actually, a few videos ago there was some music playing similar to this, and YouTube, their algorithms gave me a copyright claim for that music, and I suppose somebody at some point in history must have composed that and what have you. Anyway, so I got a copyright claim against it, but then when I read into it further, and I know it's all automatic, there's no people that gets involved at that point, and it said that the copyright owner wasn't, if you like, enforcing it, or whatever the terminology is, so that was okay, although on my sort of channel it still comes up as copyright claim, but that might just be, when I look at it, not others. Anyway, and so that was all because of that music, and it's similar, so I might get another one because of what's going on over there. But anyway, another thing as well, the flag. Okay, there's the standard flying. Again, no wind. Can you believe it? No wind and no rain in England. I mean, how's that even possible? But sure enough, or is it Photoshop? Anyway, the standard is limp, which indicates that the monarch is in residence. However, a few videos ago at 3 o'clock in the morning, the standard was as it is now. And I read somewhere that the monarch was actually continuing to stay at Clarence House, which is over there in St. James's Palace. And that's, of course, when he was Prince Charles, where he was living. So according to what I read, he was continuing to live there, although the standard was flying, which would indicate that the monarch is in residence. Given the choice of what to believe, whether to believe the actual standard itself, or whether to believe something I read in a newspaper, I'll go for the former. I know people that write and people that edit get things confused and what have you. So I'm more likely to think that the standard is correct and the monarch is in residence here and no longer at Clarence House. Then hey, I should say that they're pretty good with the flags and the way they fly. However, not perfect. I don't know, a few years ago I was driving up Whitehall with clients, driving north towards Trafalgar Square, and in t'other direction there was a bus that had come out from the right and was partially blocking traffic, and I saw a police motorbike stop just after the bus, and the guy was looking around, and I could just make out the front of a car, and the car couldn't get around the bus, and the front of the car, it was a Rolls, and it had no registration number. Now the Monarch's car, or cars, are the only ones, or is the only one that are not required to have a registration number. So I thought to myself, I wonder. Now, because there was a police bike there, I'm thinking, I wonder if the Monarch's in there, the Queen. But then I thought, well, maybe, you know, the guy's just gone out for an oil change, you know, check the tire pressure, put fuel in it, you know, just because you see a car like that on the street doesn't necessarily mean that the monarch's in it. But because there was a police motorbike a few yards ahead, which was stopped because the bus was still in the way, which I actually thought wasn't good. But, you know, that policeman should have been able to sort of keep that bus back and not force that vehicle to stop. But anyway, so eventually the bus moved forward. Oh, and I should say, I said to the client, I said, you know, I'm not sure, but I think the Queen might be in that car. And the client said to me, I won't imitate her Texas accent. She said, if the Queen's in that car, I'll give you the biggest tip ever. Anyway, so after a few seconds, the bus moves forward, the Rolls Royce moved forward, I moved forward, and then, you know, within a few seconds later, 10 seconds later, whatever, sure enough, there's the Queen on the back seat of the Rolls waving. And of course, the client waved back. And I'm thinking, you know, why do people get such a thrill out of a millisecond? But there you go. I mean, Naj does as well, I think, and especially her mother. But anyway, so yeah, and it was obviously a big deal for the client, even though it had to be a fraction of a second. And you know, who knows? Maybe the Queen did look at her. I don't know. But anyway, so when we got back to the hotel, you know, the client didn't give me the biggest tip ever. And I had said to her, oh, you know, don't worry about that. I understand that, you know, the emotions got the better of you. A bit illogical from my point of view, but there you go. Now, during the night, of course, remember the last video, all this bit here, full of flowers and a few other flags and, you know, other stuff, right? Now that's obviously cleared out at some point because that's all gone now, except for bits and pieces, and I guess those have just been placed, well, recently, in the last few minutes. And now it's only 10 in the morning. So yeah, so those are obviously cleared out. Maybe they're put into the Green Park, which is where all those tributes and flowers and everything else is being organised. That's over there. So maybe that's what's where the stuff that's put here. Maybe that's where it ends up over there in the Green Park. Don't know. Anyway, yeah. Oh, t'other thing I was thinking as well is that, of course, for many people, this will be in their whole entire lives, this will be the only time they'll be around for the passing of a monarch. But for many people, think about it. Charles is 72, so let's say, you know, another 30 years. So there's plenty of people around now who are going to be around in 30 years. And then if you go beyond that, okay, you know, Charles, you know, he passes, goes to William. Okay, he's about 40 now. So let's say, you know, he becomes monarch in 30 years. Let's say he's on the throne for 30 years. Okay, so that's a total of 60 years from now. So there are plenty of people now who are going to be around 60 years from now. So there's going to be plenty of people who are going to witness this type of thing on 3 occasions. Anyway, so that music, I don't know if they're just rehearsing or say normally, of course, it's coming up to changing the guard time, but none of that right now. So they maybe just be rehearsing. That's over there in the Wellington barracks. And what else to report today? Nothing. It's all, I guess it's proceeding. You know, I can hear there's obviously work going on along there in the Victoria Monument. I can hear drilling and there's steps. Yeah, they're obviously building something. A week today is the actual funeral in Westminster Abbey, which is over that way. Today, Monday, the other thing I should say as well is that I did say that, you know, how can the coffin take 6 hours to go from Balmoral to Edinburgh, because it's about 175 miles. But I guess, and forgive my geography here, you know, I don't know if there is a motorway that does that, but either way, you know, they go slowly, they go through villages and everything else, and it took 6 hours, so an average of 30 miles an hour. There are some people saying that they should do that down to London, and well, instead of the coffin flying down Tuesday night from Edinburgh to Northolt, which is about 4 miles north of Heathrow Airport, maybe drive the coffin down, and of course that would take 3 days or something, I suppose. They went nice and slowly and avoided the motorways. And obviously, if you stay on the motorway, you can do it in 8 hours or whatever it is. But 800 years ago, when what was it, Queen Matilda? Eleanor died. Of course, then obviously it was different with cars, and no cars, no motorways, no planes, no trains, nothing. And that took 12 days to come down from where I think she passed in Northamptonshire somewhere, or Nottinghamshire, or somewhere just up there a little bit. It took 12 days, and which is why you have the 12 Eleanor crosses. One was erected at those 12 locations where she stayed, or her coffin stayed overnight. So I suppose, in theory, something similar could be done here, although it wouldn't take 12 days. But anyway, for whatever reason, the coffin is being flown down tomorrow, Tuesday, from Edinburgh to Northolt. So today it's being moved from Holyrood in Edinburgh, going the Royal Mile. It's being walked the Royal Mile from Holyrood to St Giles Cathedral in Edinburgh. And then people are going to be there paying their respects and what have you. And I suspect this is only Monday, 7 days to go. And just a few minutes ago on the radio, I heard that more of the streets are going to be closed around here. And I say I live just down there, so I may have to be a little creative in the way that I get home. And of course, I don't think I'm gonna witness too many mournings here when it's as quiet as it is now at 10 o'clock. I think as the days go by, it's gonna get clearly busier and busier and busier. Anyway, so don't know where those fellas are off to. Fellas could be ladies, I suppose. I say once you got the Mall and head to Trafalgar Square, the up on the left-hand side there's entrances that go into St James Palace. But once you pass St James Palace, there's nothing kind of else royal, if you like. So if those people are heading up the Mall, I suppose in a way the only place they can really be going is St James's Palace. Anyway, okay, so over there is the Green Park. That's where the flowers are, and I'm going to make another trip there. Not today. Got some work responsibilities to take care of. And the last video was something like 38 minutes, so yeah, some of you probably got a little bored with that. Anyway, so I'm going back that way, whilst that exit is open. Otherwise I've got to go all the way around. So that's it for me today.